Hi everyone, I'm still all gross from going to the gym. It's a life of working home and being a busy mom. I wanted to talk to you guys about some baking staples I have and some pasta grain replacers. Um, First off, I wanted to talk to you guys about coconut flour. Uh, Coconut flour is just ground coconut. So there are two different kinds that I keep in my kitchen. The one that I use pretty much for everything is the Bob's Red Mill coconut flour, and it's pretty much great for everything. And the other one that you may need to use for baking is this one right here, and it's more of a shredded type of coconut flour. Breads sometimes, especially like paleo normal flavor bread, is hard to make without this kind of flour. I wouldn't even tackle it, to be honest. It's pretty difficult to make regular tasting paleo bread without having some difficulty, so I would use only the flours that that person used for their recipe. The second type of flour I wanted to show you guys that I use all the time is almond meal or flour. And the difference between almond meal and almond flour is that almond meal still has the skins on the almonds. If it's pure almond flour, then it means that it's blanched almonds, which basically means that the skin has been removed. If you're making something like a paleo bread or just want to, substitute it, if you do have a NutriBullet, you can put it on the two-blade grinder and just put some almonds in there and grind it till it becomes a powder. But watch out, because you don't want to make almond butter. So make sure it doesn't get too heated, or else you'll end up with the paste. I also wanted to talk about chia seed powder. Chia seed powder is great as an egg substitute replacer. If you add 1 tablespoon of chia powder to 3 tablespoons of water, then that equals 1 egg. Just let it sit for, I'd say, about 10 minutes, and it will become like a gel, kind of like the white part of the egg. You can also do the same thing with ground flax. So, chia seed powder, egg replacer. So think about pancakes, stuff like that. Good egg replacer. The other thing I wanted to talk about is arrowroot powder. I use this a lot as a thickener. So if you're trying to make anything like gravy, or like the mushroom cream sauce that I made for my chicken for lunch that I posted on Instagram, arrowroot powder. It makes everything have that thickness. You can also use tapioca flour, which Bob's Red Mill also makes, and I have in my kitchen. I just forgot to bring it out, and that is a cornstarch replacer. I wanted to show you guys also a couple things that I have for my husband and my sons, as far as having pasta and rice and replacers for grains. We still try to stay gluten-free, just because there are so many different things that gluten can cause. So my first one is quinoa. Quinoa is a superfood and is in your Shakeology. It's a single grain, there's no gluten in it. It's easy to make and it's super versatile. If you want to, make a salad, you could put it in there. You can cook it with chicken broth, and you can make it like rice instead. It will taste like whatever you decide to make it with. You can also make quinoa, let it cool, mix it around with some almond butter and some cinnamon, and dip it in some Enjoy Life chocolate, and you'll have like little, protein chocolate balls, kind of. But if you do have a sweet tooth problem, I wouldn't make them, because then you probably won't be able to stop eating them. I also keep this around. It is, you know, short grain brown rice, still gluten-free. It's also in your Shakeology, and I approve it for my family. My kids have no problem with it, and neither does my husband, so we use that instead of white rice and stuff like that. We also use cauliflower, and I'll make Spanish rice that way. The last thing that I wanted to show you guys is quinoa pasta. This is what we buy right here, and you can get it from Whole Foods, or that's where I have found it. There are other options, but I really like this one because it's corn free. I am not a big corn person, especially because it's one of the 3 highest crops most likely to be GMO. So just the fact that it says gluten-free, corn-free, and it's made out of quinoa, I approve, you know, personally for my family, and that's what we use. I hope that this has helped some of you guys, and you know, I just want you to experiment in the kitchen. If you go like way back to my Instagram account, you'll see how awful my food looked, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and over time I've just experimented in the kitchen, and I have really learned how to whip things up really quickly. So if anybody has any questions, comment on this video, and I will be happy to help you.